I done made 400, 500, even like videos for, shout out to homie Busy Works Beats, like made videos for his channel. Like I can't fake the grind. This is not a grind to me. This is purpose.
What's the daily Curtis King regimen? I asked Kato this way back before I was even a part of the B Club. Just because, and I wonder this because I feel like I'm working 13-hour days, and then I look at you and you put out a blog consistently every day. You know, you just wrote the book. You're active on social media. You're a father. You're updating your beat page regularly. So what a day in the life of Curtis King? How do you segment your time to devote all of your attention to all the things that need to happen?
No matter what I do, I got to make one beat a day and one video for my YouTube. If I don't do anything else, the day was a waste. When I set that bar, everything else becomes icing on the cake. I have to acknowledge the fact that for the last 2 months, it's been the first time I've had a team. So I think people are experiencing, and it's something I learned also from the 10X rule from Grant Cardone, which is an excellent book to read for producers. Get the unabridged version too. One of the things he says is that if you want to spread your business in whatever particular market, if you want to become a powerful voice within a market, you need to find a way to make your message omnipresent. It's got to be in multiple places at the same time. So once again, going to the whole concept of whatever you fall in love with that's attached to my brand, that's cool, as long as I put it out there in the universe. So for me, it starts off with just one beat and one video for my YouTube. Get that done. With the team now, I have somebody that's my social media manager that basically will send out these tweets on a regular basis. All he's doing is repurposing videos that I've already done. I already have 400, 500 videos in the bank from my YouTube. He just repurposing them, giving it to an audience that I never really shared it with. Like the YouTube audience I built was all internally within YouTube. So I'm repurposing that. I got 2 video editors who, for the last 2 months, all they've been doing is pushing out Instagram memes, basically repurposing the same content, right? So I got that going. The thing about it is all I'm doing is posting one post a day on Instagram. But the fact that it's coming at the same time every single day in a very strategic time, because I see my business statistics of when people are the most active, it seems like I'm doing something every day. Like, man, you stay busy. And then in the midst of that, I slowly built together this book. I wrote, a few paragraphs at a time. A few paragraphs at a time turned into 2 years. And then when that dropped, it looked like, damn, you got a book too? I've been slowly working on all of this. It wasn't this thing where I'm like working 24 hours a day. No, I'm getting sleep. Well, not with the newborn, but I was getting sleep. I was getting sleep as much as I could. And now it's to the point where it's like, it's such a well-oiled machine because I know what I want. And I think that's a big issue for a lot of producers. If you don't know what you want, you will be working, 26 hours in a 24-hour span, if that even makes sense. You'll be doing 26 hours worth of work in that span because you feel like, man, I gotta have I gotta have a beat visualizer and beat player on my YouTube. I gotta have a presence there. Oh my God, I gotta respond back to comments on Twitter. Oh my God, I gotta be a guru on Instagram. You don't have to do any of that. You gotta find the network that makes the most sense for you. If you got somebody that's good at photography that happens to be in your circle, Instagram is your platform. If you're great about putting up rants that a lot of people can relate to, Twitter is the place to go to. If you just love to talk like me, YouTube is your platform. Podcasting is your platform. So these are all things that work naturally. It don't feel like work. It just feels like, damn it, I got so much more to say. What's the proper medium for me to say it on? Then from there, like I just have 2 people now or 3 people now that help this process along. But for the most part, like I'm still generating the product. And then also too, I can't take out of consideration that I got a really supportive wife who makes this a lot easier than what it would have been. And 2, that, I keep a very focused itinerary. I'm not all over the place. And this is my 9 to 5. This is my 9 to 5. There is nothing else that comes in the way of this.
All right,
yeah.
My bad. We got 2 questions coming in. The first one is from Jay. He wants to know about your book. I will model the book as you explained it.
It's a lot more clean cut than I am right now. I'm looking like a grizzly dad right now, man.
Well, that's why I'm putting the book in front of my facial hair too.
Yeah, he may not recognize it if he goes there. You know, he may get a DJ Khaled book instead because, you know, we look the same and all that. So,
oh, my bad. His question was about I think about the Grant Cardone book that you mentioned. Yeah, he didn't catch the title, but I still think you should talk about the book very briefly so people know where to get it, what it's about, so forth.
So that Grant Cardone book is the 10X rule. 10 and the letter X rule. Get the audio book. Get the unabridged version because he's like this Southern marketing sales brain, like brilliant guy who sounds like a car salesman, but he's speaking the truth. Like one of the chapters in the book is stop being a little beat. If you don't get more in your face than that, I don't know. It's just, it's a great read for getting straight to a goal and not making excuses for working your ass off to get there. For my book, it's called The Prosperous Hip Hop Producer. It's partly or mostly my story from making beats on my grandmother's patio in Carson, California, on a PlayStation 1 with a game called MC Music Generator. It starts there, and then it ends with me taking my beat leasing business, CurtisKingBeats.com, and everything else that comes with it into a six-figure business. So I walk you through all the different things that I went through, all the heartbreaks I experienced, my super lowest points in my life, and it basically shows you from a story standpoint how I got there, but also there's bullet points at the end of every chapter. And my favorite part, so I'll give you an example. I give you the story of when I competed in the Red Bull Big Tune Challenge, and it's a beat battle that used to be really popular years ago. When I competed in that, I tell you the story of all the things that happened behind the scenes and how the competition went. There's QR codes in the book. So now after you read it, you can go watch the battle. It takes you directly through your iPhone. So those aspects are what make me supremely proud of having that book out there. It tells my story, but it's more than my story. It's really the story of music producers that I've never heard talked about that candidly. Like I've read some great books about producers, but I feel like they focus a lot more on the highlights as opposed to the lowlights. And I'm one to tell you, like, I need to keep it all the way funky with you so you know this is what you want to do or not. Because it's not for everybody. It really isn't for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Payne, you're
We
muted.
have another question coming in. I muted myself. It's like the spirit of Dame is with us. This is from Fever, I guess. Do you wait until you have a certain number of beats before you copyright them, or are you doing it as the music is completed? Thank you.
Now, when it comes to the copyright issue, I don't want to be irresponsible for how I speak about this. So I'll say, make it the most cost efficient that you can. You don't have to send a beat at a time. It's probably a lot more expensive if you do it that way. You know, send a bulk of beats. Send about 30 beats at a time, or I would even go 20 beats at a time will be a good number to do that. But just make sure that you're sending it as a pack so that you're saving yourself money. If you're doing this after every single beat, it's going to be expensive. And, you know that every beat is not made the same. The lifespan of every beat is not the same. You'll be really feeling a beat one day, and then you put it out there in the market and nobody wants it. You end up pulling it off the internet. Like, what happens if you already invested that money into that? You know, so I would say the most cost-efficient way is probably about 20 to 30 beats at a time. Send it in as a full album. Go to copyright.gov. Take care of the process. Really easy process to take care of. But for the most part, just get to cooking. I know that's why I said I want to be irresponsible, because I think more important than trying to get all the legalities. I see folks who literally will wait to put their beats out. And so, like, I gotta have this copyright. I'm really strict about. You gotta get out there. You're wasting valuable time. Tomorrow's not promised to. I'm not saying don't get it copyrighted. I'm just saying worry about get to the craft. You gotta have something worth being copywritten to begin with, I think.
Let's see. Do we have more questions coming in? Yes, we have another question. This is from Jay, and I'm gonna pass him through. Jay, what's going down?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it was like giving me the option to like unmute myself or whatever. But what's good, Curtis?
What's going on, Jay? How you doing?
Not much, man. Doing good. So,
Good.
I got a question for you because I always see you like super energetic and motivated, like you said. So, you have to be in this mind frame because you do your videos and stuff, and you know it's something you got to keep up with. But are there any times that you ever feel like unmotivated or just like tired or like bored of working with rappers and stuff like that? And like, what do you do to get out of that mind state? Like, you just take a break? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know.
Great question. You gotta have your guilty pleasures. You gotta have the things that keep refreshing you in life. Like the last month, I can't even explain to you, outside of just having a passion for what I do and a love for what I do, how I've been able to put out a video a day for the last 52 days. Even like I released a video in the emergency room when my son was being delivered. Like not during the delivery, but in the actual room. I sat there and did a sort of a perspiration within that room. And my wife told me, she said, you got to put a video out today. What helps me is this. Whenever I'm working and I'm video editing or I'm working on something that's very tedious, even the beat making process, when I get to parts that I'm not necessarily my most favorite parts about making beats, I'll take my phone out and I'll put up this house that I've literally been dreaming about since my wife showed it to me. And it's something that's within my grasp. But I'll basically go on Trulia and I'll swipe left and right. And I just continue to imagine myself in there, right? That's something that helps. I know it's a thing. Sometimes we don't want to think about materialistic things, but sometimes we do need sort of those snack food inspirations. That helps me. That helps me a lot to do that. Also, too, when I'm feeling down, and really, honestly, I could tell you this. I have my down periods because I'm a human being. I never have my bored periods. That's where I become very obsessive. We don't have the luxury to be bored. Why? Because we will die one day. We will be dead. And the people right now, I had a dream one time, Jay, blew my mind. I haven't really shared it too much, but I had a dream one time where I walked into a room, super bright room, and it was super bright and like a whole bunch of like white. And then when it came into focus, I looked around this long round table and I recognized that most of the people that were sitting down were all people who had passed away in my lifetime, who had died. And they told me to sit down, sat me down, and they told me that we can no longer continue the legacy. It's up to you. You have life right now in you to do something. And so what I took from that is that there are so many people who have passed on to the next life or passed away, whatever you believe in, who died with a book inside of them, died with music inside of them. For me, that just it flames me up. I don't know what it takes for you, Jay, but for me, that flames me up for those times where I cannot ever be bored. There's other work to be done. And so what I'll say is also, too, and this may be more so health related, I don't eat meat. When I got rid of meat, my energy stays up pretty high 90% of the time. When I got rid of meat, when I got rid of the junk food, I started realizing that it has a direct reflection upon the way that I think, the way that I work. Also, too, as producers, we sit in these chairs and they're not great for our backs because we're slumped over. They're not good for our energy because we're sitting like this. Well, guess what? When you're doing like this, you're sending signals to your brain that you're taking the physiology of somebody who's depressed. As crazy as that sounds, sit there and do this. When you're sitting at the laptop long enough, you'll start to think about the things you want to be depressed about. Your bills. You'll start thinking about things like out of nowhere too. It's a real thing. On the flip side of it, if you ever find yourself super depressed, Jay, or even like just feeling down, stand up, and as goofy as it sounds, stand up, look in the corner of the room, and assume the position of Superman. Put your fist, put your fist on your hips, look up, and I want you to try to think the most depressing thoughts that you can. It's freaking impossible. You can even try that right now. Look into the corner, looking like Superman, put your chest out, look out. And why is that? Because the power of physiology, the power of your body. Us as producers, we spend so much time in front of the laptop, slumped over, on our phones, slumped over. We're sending signals to our brain to continue to be depressed because that's the same way we look when we're depressed. Can't overlook that stuff. So your health,
very interesting.
the food you're eating, the physiology, that's why I stay the way I am. I got a trampoline. People are like, you're 33. What you got a trampoline for, fam? Like, you ain't got no kids that are of age to be on it. I'm on a trampoline. because I know that most of the time we feel drained is because either we're dehydrated or we ate too damn much. You get on top of a trampoline after you eat, it speeds up the digestion process, and you continue to retain that energy. But like I said, it's not for everybody. But I'm telling you that if you can incorporate these things and work on them like a muscle, energy is another muscle. You work on that muscle, you'll have the energy to do what you do. And also, too, keep your dreams close to you, whether it's your cell phone, whatever you got to have. Like, keep that stuff close to you. Because at the end of the day, that's what stops me from responding back to these trolls on YouTube. You know, also text messages from pain help me, too. But, you know, it is what it is, man. So your energy,
you can't win.
Yeah, your energy is your currency. That's what I'll say. So anything that's draining your energy, you got to audit that.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like, for me, it's like I was in the military and like I was making money. You know what I'm saying? Like I got out and just to go after music. I'm going to school right now for like audio engineering, and I'm just like, I feel like just dawed out. You know what I mean? Like
I feel you.
I'm in Pro Tools every day, and it's crazy.
Well, bro, do this. There's another technique too. Try to imagine yourself, because how old are you today, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 25.
25. Imagine yourself at 55. Do you want that face to be a face of regret, or do you want that face to be a face? How about this? If you are 55 and somehow, some way in this universe, you could walk to your 55-year-old self at 25, is he going to be happy or pissed off at you?
Right, you talking about like right now?
Right now, if you were 25 and you walked into the house of the 55-year-old version of you, is he going to be excited to see you because of the sacrifices you made today, or is he going to be pissed off because you didn't want to spend your time on Pro Tools?
Nah, he's gonna be happy. He's gonna, you know, I feel that I've been out. I've made a lot of sacrifices to get where I'm at right now. You know, my family. That's a big thing too. Like I listen to a lot of people, you know, inspirational things, and it's like sometimes even your family can get in the way of those kind of things. So yeah, my family was super like military background, and they were like pissed because I got out of the military. They're like, "Oh, what you gonna do?" But you know, I'm just in that process, so I'm almost done. So
I don't, bro, and I've been there too. And I tell you what, there's nothing that brings a family quicker together. And I don't know if it's the right thing, but when you become successful and they see the happiness in you, and they can't deny the happiness in you, because my grandmother didn't support my music until she saw my face in a newspaper. I'm like, that's all it took? Me being in a local, because for her, it was context. For her, it was like, why is my grandson not in college? Why doesn't he not want the best life for him? You know, when I went to school, like I couldn't go to school because of the financial risk. Why is he not doing this? And he has support. But if you're able to show her in her own context, like for my grandmother, you know, rest in peace, when she saw my face on a newspaper, she said, my grandson is a big deal, isn't he? And I'm like, oh, so you're not going to pay attention to the verified account on Twitter? You're not going to pay attention to none of this other stuff that means stuff to our peers. You just want to see my face on the newspaper. So my thing is this, is that everybody needs a different type of context to understand the importance of what you're doing. Sometimes them getting in the way is them testing your dedication to it as well. Not consciously, but subconsciously is what they're doing. So it's up to you to continue to respect them. You know, and that was something that I wish I would have took my own advice with my pops, because my pops was very adamant about me not doing, like, how can I put this? Keeping my education first before my music. And I rebelled against that completely. But now that he sees the man that pursuing this has made me, he's ultra proud. But it took some time, you know, but you just got to continue pushing forward on it and still love them for who they are, because at the end of the day, at some degree, they want the best for you. I have to believe that, at least.
Yeah. Word, man. I appreciate it, man.
Man, appreciate you. Appreciate the question.
Let me make sure that we don't have any. Does anyone have some last minute questions? I know we've been on here for about an hour now.
Damn, I could talk. That's my fault. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, it's good. I want to respect your time, and I know you got like 12 more videos to make before midnight. So.
No, I got one. Hell, the little one ain't gonna let me do that. He hears Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com twice. He start crying. He know what that means. He knows what that means.
Yo, did any producer other than Kato and Curtis King really cloud up off that yodeling boy? Because like
By the way,
it was just over with. Once the two of you touched it, it was over with.
by the way, I just got to put this out there. Curtis's remix fucking blew mine out of the water, and I can't. I can't even be mad, man.
Look, I can't be mad. Y'all did a
I heard that shit, and I was like, he deserves it. He definitely takes the W on that one.
I appreciate it, but I look at it like it's a dual W because y'all, you had Jaron Benton going to Walmart off of the track, like then made it a political.
That was the original plan. That's what I wanted to do, but Jaron was busy with shit, and at the time, like he had other shit going on, but I stayed on him about it, and I put out the instrumental by itself. And then eventually I convinced him to jump on it. So, but yeah, that beat you made was crazy.
Thank you, man. It's one of them things where I was like, I sat here, bro, and producer's the producer. You sit here in your mind, and it's almost like you got your own mental Serato. And you're like, hold on. Is this kid singing in the same key as Song Cry? Because I thought to myself, he said, oh, I thought I would cry. I said, cry, hip-hop, Jay-Z, Song Cry. Yeah. Is that in the same key? The moment I heard it, and then I put that little Antares auto-tune on it, it was a rap. Genius. Give me my drums, and I'm about to flip this. It's done. But I appreciate that, brother. That means a lot.
For sure.
All right, if we don't have any last-minute questions, I'm going to let Curtis do his video thing. And oh, no, we got one more. My bad. We got Nick.
No worries.
Nick, what's going down?
What's up, man? How you guys doing? What's up, Curtis?
How you doing, Nick?
Not much. I'm doing good, man. Yo, I don't even have a question, man. I just want to touch up on what Jay said. I just want to say thank you for that. And I got the audio book a while ago for the 10X, but I've been in a slump myself for these past 2 weeks, even a month, man. But what you said was real, and I really appreciate that because that's really what I needed to hear, man. I just want to say thank you. This session was dope, and I just want to say thank you very much.
I appreciate you for tuning in and even like to come on to say that. Yeah, nothing but love, man. Because I think when you speak so passionately about it and you feel that way internally, you can't fake that. Like by now, I done made 400, 500, even like videos for, shout out to homie Busyworks Beats, like made videos for his channel. Like I can't fake the grind. This is not a grind to me. This is purpose.